So Alfred, man, I just want to say thank you for your willingness to join me today on the Prison to Promise podcast. With this podcast, I like to talk with brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated and who are now back in the community pursuing their dream of promise. And whatever that promise is to you is your promise. And I'd like for you to be able to share some of your insights about incarceration and some of the things that motivated you to find a different course in life other than that helped lead you to prison, with the hope of motivating other people who are maybe struggling with reentry or their loved ones are incarcerated or something to the matter. So once again, thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity. Um, so as far as my experience in prison, spent 2 decades in prison, 2 years on North Carolina's death row, and 18 years in the federal system after, being released from death row. And it's a long, hard journey, and it's a struggle because you're enduring suffering and psychological suffering, and so as far as making a transition or a change, that comes along with what are you looking for in yourself, and a lot of times it comes with recognizing your own condition and the condition of the environment or the situation that brought you to prison. So first you have to sort that out, get inside oneself first. So the saving of yourself and coming to a realization of what you're looking for as far as your own legacy, or to change the conditions that you see. So what affected me as far as incarceration is just looking at the prison yard and seeing how many guys rec call, you go to rec instead of the library. So things like that, I started noticing, like, wow, this is we just like a herd of cattle, being led astray. And then even though we see the cliff right there, we still just keep walking.
Jumping off the cliff.
So yeah. So for me, that was a wake-up call, and knowing that, okay, my immediate condition was based upon the environment that that molded me, and all the things that come along with that, racism, injustices, not having
resources. Not having.
So these are the things that started popping up in my head to give me a sense of what would you do if you ever got out of prison? Because I had a life sentence, I had a death sentence, before that. And what led me back to prison, even after being released from death row after a wrongful conviction, it was not having the resources, not having a support system, not having outlets to lean on, or even
real quick. So you got released from death row and you went back to the community.
Right. I went back to the community.
Then you were in this situation that you're describing, not having resources.
Right. So I was released from death row, and within an hour, I was, after the being acquitted, I was back in society.
Yeah.
But not with a helping hand, not with an apology, not with well, here's something to help you out, not just for the wrongful conviction, but because of just say the mental aspect, the psychological aspect. Here's some help for that. Here's some to see if you are even fit to attempt to get back into regular society. None of that.
Go do it.
Just go. Get out of here. Exactly. And that's racism, because they don't feel that, the system doesn't feel that we're worthy in the sense that, true rehabilitation. You're only worthy of a wrongful arrest or a wrongful conviction or a wrongful incarceration. You're worthy of that.
Yeah.
But anything that can repair that,
Yeah.
they're not as eager. The system is not as eager, to pursue that or to throw that in your face. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm setting you up for failure again.
That's what I was thinking as you told me that.
Right.
That's why I asked
Yeah.
for clarity. I'm like, yo, the system is supposed to help us, but right here it was apparent they're setting you up for failure.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely, and that's in majority of the cases, or for many decades, it's
How
still
long
going
were
on.
you out on your second time, on your second run? How long were you out from death row before you ended up back in the penitentiary?
About a year.
Yeah.
About a year. About a year later, I was back to, you know, back to just being involved in, drugs or hanging around in the neighborhood or hanging with the guys. You know what I'm saying? So you never, you never get a chance to get away from that. So because it's so much a part of you, it's easy, to get back involved in those type of things.
Yeah, man. I think I lost you. You're on mute. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
As far as can you hear me?
I can hear you now. So what were you saying?
As far as the reentry, anything dealing with how can you be reacclimated to society.
Yeah.
That's not something. I mean, it's talked about, but it's not actually. There's no. It's nothing concrete.
Yeah, there's no
Meaning,
meat on the bone.
right? Because the facts and the stats show that is there's the to get reincarcerated. The numbers are so high,
Yeah, like
you know,
69%.
right? And so the thing is that's showing you that whatever is being propagated about rehabilitation or reentry, it's not working in the sense that um, the ones that have been targeted for decades
Mhm.
are not actually benefiting from the propaganda of of um, you know of the claim to have programs and things of this nature. We know that to be just
Absolutely.
fluff. It's fluff.
Absolutely. It doesn't help anybody get any better. And
No,
as
I was,
the prison
I was
hurts more than it helps.
right because you're dealing with prison is dealing with when you incarcerated. You know whether you over sentenced, whether you're wrongly convicted or whether you're guilty.
Yeah.
It's based on a suffering that you're trying to protect yourself from suffering while in prison when you don't even really have a real focus on change or rehabilitation because the suffering that's involved, it overwhelms you to where you have to protect yourself. And like you and I can attest to, we had to build a cocoon around ourselves, even from the prison environment,
Yep.
in order to
Most of
thrive.
it.
Right. In order to thrive within ourselves, to propel ourselves, to even want to, make a change. And in my case, it was more of a thing where because I didn't have light at the end of the tunnel, I had a life sentence. At the last part
Yeah.
of my journey, I had life sentence, and even knowing that, okay, man, what have you gained in life if you have to spend the rest of your life in prison? What have you gained or learned or know that you could help yourself and someone else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that right there caused me to really be steadfast on, change, mentally changing, and then trying to project that out to others that I knew was getting right out, or
Yeah.
you know, only had a couple years,
Yeah.
and you know, they just had to be groomed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So because I already knew that as far as the system is concerned, you know, the inmates teach the classes, the inmates sign you up for classes. You know, it's not like it's structured to where we, while incarcerated, you receive so much of you know, things that can actually, you know, help. That's why the recidivism rate is so high.
Yeah.
Because if it was working, then the rate of recidivism wouldn't be as high.
Absolutely. You know, Mos Def, the rapper, he said in his song Mathematics that the killing fields need blood to graze the cash cow. It's a
Wow.
number game, but the shit don't add up somehow.
Wow.
Yeah. He was talking about the record industry, but we could easily, you know,
Yeah.
take a statement and put it right on the penitentiary, the impoverished and underserved and marginalized communities.
Exactly. Right.
Turning that down.
Yeah.
So tell me this, Brother Alfred. At what point did you realize I gotta change? And how did you start making that change within yourself?
I realized that, man, you know, immediately when I was able to, you know, let everything sink in as far as my ordeal, because you know, you get off, you know, I'm a person, I've got off death row, and now I find myself facing a life sentence.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I was sent to federal prison, I knew that I had to make a choice. Is either I had to change the way I thought. I had to change in the sense of how can I help myself.
Mhm.
I had to change knowing that okay, I didn't know enough as far as about the country that I was living in, the country I was born and raised in. I didn't know nothing about their laws. I didn't know a sufficient amount of history in order to detect what was actually going on around me. So all of this started to play and say, wow, you know, like Malcolm said, you know, we've been hoodwinked, we've been duped. You know what I'm saying? Bamboozled. So, you know, and then listening to brothers like that, reading from brothers like that, and other brothers, you know, that was, you know, part of the struggle in America. And I had to come to learn that, hold on, this stuff's still going on. And everything that was spoken about was so relevant that I would just say, wow, this is actually what's going on. So that compelled me to change.
Mhm.
And immediately when I knew that, man, you know, you got to do something for yourself. You got to do something as far as at least learn what you're going through. Learn about what got you here, what landed you here. Learn about why your people is treated like this. Learn about the struggles that those that came before have been through. So I had to learn about all this.
But you had a life sentence. So what made you want to start learning this versus saying the hell with it? I might as well just ball out.
Because um I was dissatisfied with my life the way it turned out. I was dissatisfied with the fact um that you know, I didn't um know my environment like I thought I knew it,
Mm.
you know,
Mhm.
and I didn't, you know, I was dissatisfied with the fact that I had let so many people down, you know
Mm.
what I mean, by even ending up back in that situation,
Mm.
not knowing that, okay, um, me be landing back in that situation, that was also by design also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that just made me want to buckle down and say, what can you do for yourself? Why,
Mm.
when your back is up against the wall, how can you help yourself? And, you know, looking at, like I said, the prison environment, I seen that we were just, it was like, you know, we were subhuman.
Mm.
And, you know, I used to imagine at times that, you know, a plant being on a plantation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So,
I can dig
yeah,
that.
so the modern day plantation thing, it was real to me. You know what I mean? Like the looking at the buildings of the prison, they, looking at how these modern prefab type prisons that, they actually, the buildings are built like ship containers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Doing
these
cargo.
these realizations, man, woke me up. And because I was on death row and because I felt like a fool, because I felt like, I had let myself and others down to such an extent that I said, man, you gotta redeem yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta redeem yourself, whether it's, learning in here and then projecting that out to your children or the guys that's around you, or just to help make the guys aware that, look, man, when you go back out there, man, you got to be aware. You got to try to, whatever you can do, even if you start with just your children. You know what I mean? So I became more involved with that type of environment in prison.
Wow. That makes me think of something that Bob Marley said when he was quoting Marcus Garvey. And he said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind.
Exactly.
Wow.
100. Right. And those are things that reverberate over, the eons of time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's a truth.
Yeah. Right. And the things, a lot of our forefathers, man, and mothers, man, the things that they endured and the struggles and the things that they said and the reasons why they pointed out is still, going on to such a degree to where we still are disproportionate. We still are hunted, in a sense that, we are being preyed upon. So once I started to realize that, and I knew that this was actually the problem, it wasn't me for being a petty criminal. It wasn't because, I didn't have nothing else to do but hang around the block and be a petty criminal. I didn't have nothing out there that was designed for me anyway. Right.
It created you, the economic system, the social system, they created you to be that way.
Right.
So you become a commodity.
Exactly. So you have really no choice in the sense that, okay, they say, well, everybody got a choice. But in reality, no. Because if you expect a man to, make it off of nothing, then and you got everything, and then you expect, him to be equal to you, then that's never going to be the case because it's not an equal playing field.
Right. And one of the things you dropped is, coming up, you didn't know. And so if you don't know, you can't act on anything but what you know. But once you start increasing your knowledge, then you can do better. And it sounds like that was your evolution. That was your journey, gaining knowledge so that you can help others do better. And with the hopes of also helping yourself do better.
Right. And that's what my mind, that's what triggered me, was basically knowing that, being ashamed that me and my peers were so undereducated to the degree that we can't even see the design.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the people I built with, the guys I would build with, we had this same understanding, and that made me thrive to be, not to, you don't want to be a fool knowingly, right? So I'm like,
when you air like, you see a light.
Right, exactly. So when I started to see it, through that spectrum, man, and I felt like a fool. I felt like, an idiot.
Yeah. Did you know, brother, that you were going to be getting out someday? Or
No,
did you have hope for getting out?
Yeah, I always had the hope.
Yeah. And
always had.
And what did you see with that hope, man? Like, what was your future? What did you see for your future?
I seen what I'm doing now. Actually, just being a voice, trying to bring some sort of awareness, trying to get the reality into people that needs to understand what the real reality is. So I actually envisioned me being a voice or some type of help or guide in bringing a reality to my peers, to my community, to my family.
Yeah.
I always envisioned that. I always seen it, but knowing that I had a life sentence and that life without parole, I just kept the hope in the sense that knowing that okay, it ain't just, it ain't right, and it shouldn't be, and just on that alone, that the universe and that righteousness would prevail in a sense that this is not supposed to be, so this is not going to be my reality. That right there allowed me to manifest what I had in my subconscious, knowing that okay, one day you will be free. This won't be your end. I kept that that in me, knowing that. But
You answered my next question with that, which was what kept that hope alive. But you hit right on it, like you were walking in my mind just now. You kept that hope alive. You kept that subconscious. You knew that this was not righteous, so you manifested it.
Right.
So in essence, your vision came to fruition.
It came into fruition, manifestation. That thought, even when I went to when I went to the death row ordeal, I had the same feeling that I didn't belong there. I wasn't supposed to be there. This wasn't righteous, and that this is not going to be your end. But I just didn't know how, or when, But I just knew something in me. That's why, me personally, I believe that I have a message that the universe or Most High wants me to be able to say, look, you know what I mean? I'm one of those, I believe that this happened for a reason, a specific reason, because of my nature. My nature, like even when I was young, my nature was I was attracted to righteousness. I was attracted to spiritual or religious or holy things. Even as a young kid, I was attracted to these type of things, and I was able to pick up on those things quick. But I lost that. When you're getting out of that childhood, I lost it. But that was my nature. That's why I was able to know internally who and what I was, because I knew what my nature was as a child.
Right.
I wasn't thuggish as a child. I wasn't bad. I was mild tempered. Kind of like a soft, kind of laid back. I wasn't, and so right and good things attracted me when I was a kid. But I grew out of that because of the environment. The environment molds you.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking about is like, because of that environment and how it molds us, it's like it heaps all this trash on top of us, and it buries our true nature. It makes me kind of think like a gem, that's found in the mud of the earth. It's got all this mud and dirt on it, but then when they find it, they put it in the hot fire, the killing, and it burn off all the impurities, and then just the gem is left. And the century is sort of like that. It's like that fire that's either going to consume us or it's going to burn off all the impurities so that our true nature can shine again.
Right. Yeah, you hit that on the head, because that's exactly the illustration that can describe that. And the thing is that there's not many that go through what we go through and suffer under the condition that we suffer, that get a chance to come to a realization based upon the reality that we actually facing. So what we do is we have the effort attitude, and we become the gangster, we become the pimp, we become all of the other stuff that's expected of us. You know what I mean?
Don't feel nice.
Right. So I had just by reading and contemplating, I had to say, man, how can you change even though you're up against this? What would you do if you had a chance to get out? So I started pursuing those things, knowing that, okay, if I would do this, if these are the things that I would want to do if I had a chance to get out, and I know inside that I'm getting out of here, right? And I had to pursue those things because my subconscious knew that I'm a manifest. I don't know when and how.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna be gone. Yeah. So if you would be doing this, if you had a chance, right, then this is what you need to be focused on.
So you were building castles already in your mind.
Right. Irregardless of the fact that, people were getting out, guys were getting out, leaving. And I was always, one of the ones that was, had to wish them farewell, man.
How much time total did you spend behind that wall, man?
In the feds, 18 years, 6 months on death row. I was there 22 months. And then I was, released.
Yeah, but still,
I was acquitted. Yeah. So, and then my aspirations were knowing that, okay, because we're in a predicament where we're not given a fair chance. And I know this as a fact, right? So I knew that what would you do to sustain yourself and your family? So I had to pursue that. I had to say, okay, what type of work would you do, or how would you go about it? So I wanted to learn about other things, credit. I wanted to educate myself. I wanted to read more. So I knew that these are the things that sustain you in society. And if I ever had a chance to get out, then I would need these tools in my bag.
Man, that is dope, man. Because I'm thinking, the average cat would probably just give up and say, this is my life. I'm stuck here. I ain't gonna never get out. They don't bang the gavel, they don't sign the papers, but you kept hope alive and you continue to pursue those things that brought life to you.
Right.
What type of supports did you have, man, to help you through that situation, other than just self?
The first line of support, I'm gonna tell you, the truth is, is the guys, man, that you're around, as far as the group that you choose to be around, or the guys that you choose to associate with when you're going through such an ordeal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my first line of support, was the guys that was already had endured these things for many years and what they had to share with me. And, once we shared with each other and build and talk and met up at the libraries and stuff like that, it became like a burning desire for me to be like them in a sense. You know what I mean? To be like them in a sense that, man, these guys was this strong to still, you would only think they were in prison a year or something. But these guys, it's not many, but there's a few that, man, your support system, for me, my support system was right in my immediate environment, which was the prison. But the guys that were on a wave, a different wave of the prison environment, these guys were the guys that were that seen the fault in themselves, not only, but the fault in society, and come to a realization that we are better than, this right here. You know what I'm saying? So that was my support system within and without. You got family members, you got some that stay, some that leave. So it depends on, because some people ain't got family outside in the street that's locked up and they ain't got nothing. You know what I mean?
They do have family.
They got the guys around.
And then sometimes they do have family, but their family don't know how to support them, can't support them because they still in their life.
Right.
But as you were talking, I was thinking about something that Viktor Frankl said in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And I'll paraphrase it a little bit. And he said, after everything else has been taken from you, you still have that one thing left that nobody can take from you. And that is your choice, your attitude, the way you want to choose to go about living the rest of your life.
Right.
So how you want to present. So you still have that. And that sounds like what you have right there. you know.
Right.
So we're coming down to the end of our time together, good brother. And again, you know, this is a heavy conversation, and I appreciate you stepping out on the limb and sharing your experience with our listeners, sharing it with me. But a couple things I'd like to ask real quick is one, what are you doing nowadays that you've been out, and how long have you been out?
I've been out since July 2019. I worked. I went to trucking school and got me a CDL license because that's something that I wanted to get up under my belt. So I did that. I pursued that. Got the license, and just continued to work. I landed a job with the city. Stayed there under a program for about 6 months, and then I just worked along with a former attorney who helped me start up a food truck business. So that's what I'm into now. And that's my focus. That's what I've been doing, just grinding, man. I heard one brother, I just was listening to some brothers that's incarcerated. I was listening to them this morning, and the brother said the same thing I always used to say, man. He said, I'd rather be broke and in society,
Yeah,
right, than to have the bag and in prison.
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
You know, the
So,
opportunity to come up.
right. So for us, man, it's more of, we got to stop thinking about that bag in a way that, our culture throws that out at us. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, get
That's
the
the
bag.
value of the person.
Right. Because we're not taking, consideration of the consequences. You know what I mean? And the consequences don't just destroy us, man. They destroy everything around. So if you got children, it destroys them. If you got a wife or girlfriend, it destroys them. Your family destroys them. It destroys so much that we have to come to terms to say, man, is it even worth it? You know what I'm saying? Is it even worth it, man? Because
Indeed.
we destroy
Yeah,
so much. We destroy our community. We
absolutely.
destroy the people that love us. You know what I mean? We destroy. It's just total destruction.
The bag becomes the priority, not the
Right.
relationships that we have with other people. And as you and I know, it's the relationships that really make life quality. You know?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
So another question, man, for you is what jewel or gem would you share with a person, say a young person that's flirting with trouble, a young person that's already in trouble, or somebody that's hoping to get out of the penitentiary? Any of those groups, what would be a gem or a jewel that you'd share with them?
Not to follow the status quo. To first find yourself, understand yourself truly, and then pursue the higher things of self.
Yeah,
And the higher, pursue those higher things about your life.
yeah,
And always keep in mind that you're not going to be 20 or 25 or 30 years old all your life.
that's
you
right.
know
That's right.
so that's what I like to share with people that's headed to where I had I ended up.
That's wisdom. And you know, as you said that, it made me think about the ancient Kemites or the ancient Egyptians. You know,
Right.
they were said to have above the door of all of their mystery temples,
Know thyself.
know thyself. You know,
Right.
as we know, knowledge of self is the first and foremost, as you just said.
Right. And the knowledge itself encompasses many things. So that's
Absolutely.
that instruction there is deep.
And it's an ongoing process from cradle to grave. It don't stop. Like you get to this point and you get a degree that says this guy has knowledge of self. You
No.
know, ongoing process.
Right.
And so my last thing I want to drop on you, good brother, is what would you entitle your life's journey as? If you could put your journey in a book or a journal or a movie, what would that title be?
I would title it The Awakening.
Hmm.
The Awakening.
And
Because
why?
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I said, and why so?
Because that's what's necessary.
Uh-huh.
That's what's necessary in the predicament and the reality that we're living in, or that we were born into.
Yeah.
You know, at this point in time, as far as in this life cycle, we were born into a time where, you know, not just in this immediate time, but, you know, I mean, going from the historical
This epoch.
time that impacts us, you know, the 1500s all the way up to, well, I'll go back to the 1400s all the way up to now. The awakening, because you have to become awoke, you know, and to so much that impacts your immediate life right now.
Yeah.
So to be to become awoke or have an awakening, is coming into, again, the knowledge of self, right? And knowledge of self allows you to, it's a springboard. The knowledge itself is the springboard. It's a catalyst, you know what I'm saying? So knowledge itself, it propels you up to those other levels. And the awakening begins to transpire. Now the awakening then allows the barriers to begin to you know, to crumble. And once that process begins, you don't have to know and understand everything. The process, the beginning of the process alone will compel you. You see what I'm saying? Like it compelled us. We live in examples. We can't never forget that.
That's right.
We live in examples as long as we remain, you know what I mean, steadfast on the goal.
Absolutely. And humble.
Right.
And humble.
Exactly. Right.
That is just so powerful. And the last thing, we've got about a minute left. How can people find you or reach out to you or find your food truck or anything like that? We got a minute. Can you drop that on some folks?
Yes, sir. People can contact or reach me at Alfred at nccadp.org. You know.
And if people are in North Carolina, where can they find your food truck?
My food truck I'm predominantly in the Forsyth County area. My food truck, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Providencia's Kitchen.
How you spell that?
Providencia's Kitchen, PROVIDENCIA''S, Providencia. Providencia's Kitchen.
All right.
And you know, I'm new in the game, and but I'm on my way up, you know. So
right on. Yeah, brother.
I'm definitely I'm out, and I'm still in the struggle, you know.
Right on. So Brother Alfred, I said David. I don't know why I got David in my head, but Brother Alfred, thank you for your time. And I'm going to be in touch with you, and we're going to keep this connection rolling.
No question, man. I appreciate the opportunity, brother, and looking forward to building some more.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend, beloved.
And you too, brother. Peace.